Angela, your business trip was supposed to end today, right? What time are you coming home? I've been looking forward to seeing you. I even went ahead and made plans for us to have dinner when you get home.
Chris, I'm so sorry. My business trip has been extended. I won't be back until Monday now.
What? Why? What happened all of a sudden?
The person I was supposed to meet for work ran into a major issue on their end. They asked to reschedule our meeting. So now I'm stuck here over the weekend, waiting for things to settle. It's frustrating, but it's out of my hands.
I see. I understand now.
I feel awful about this. I was really looking forward to finally spending a weekend together with you. It's been so long since we've had that kind of time.
Don't worry about it, Angela. I understand. It's work, after all. These things happen, and it's beyond your control. We both knew this would happen sometimes when we decided to get married, considering how busy our jobs are. We promised to support each other no matter what.
Thank you for being so understanding. I'll make it up to you. When I get back, I'll stop by and pick up your favorite chocolate cake. You always say it's the best treat after a long week.
Sounds good. I'll be looking forward to it. Even though it feels like we hardly ever get time together anymore, let's make sure that next time we have the chance, we'll just relax and enjoy each other's company. No work, no interruptions, just us.
Sam, good news! My business trip has been extended until Monday, which means I get to stay here over the weekend. I feel bad for the client who's dealing with all their issues, but honestly, it's lucky for us. Now we can spend the whole weekend together and do all the things we can't do back at the office. Let's make the most of it.
Angela.
Come on, don't be so formal. Call me Angie like you always do. I'm so excited. I can't wait to relax and spend time with you. Just the two of us having fun.
You still don't get it, do you?
Wait, what? No way. Did I send that message to the wrong person?
Yeah, you sure did. What's this about Sam and Angie? Looks like you sent one of those classic wrong messages. You know, I used to wonder who's dumb enough to make that kind of mistake, but now I know. Turns out it's people like you who live in some fantasy world.
No, you're completely misunderstanding. Okay, I'll admit I sent the message to the wrong person, but let me explain. Sam's a woman. She just has a boyish vibe, so everyone calls her Sam. She's a junior colleague of mine, so we're here on this trip for work. We're not sharing a room or anything like that. We were just planning to have dinner together in her room and unwind a bit after a stressful day, that's all.
So you're telling me that you're gonna unwind and spend time together over dinner with a female colleague? Sure, that sounds completely innocent.
Why are you being like this? You don't even understand the kind of work I do, and yet you're quick to assume the worst. That's not fair at all. Are you saying you don't trust me? If you really love me, the first thing you should do is trust me. Isn't that how relationships are supposed to work?
You know what? There's no point in arguing about this over messages. I don't have any solid proof, and this isn't the kind of situation that can be resolved by just going back and forth like this.
Exactly. I'm glad you understand.
Let me ask you this, though. Is it really true that you're there for work?
Of course it's true. Why would I lie about something like that? The extension of the trip is real, too. You can even ask my boss if you don't believe me.
Fine. If that's the case, just focus on finishing your work.
Obviously, that's what I'll do. But I can't help feeling upset that you're doubting me like this. It's unfair and it hurts, Chris. Chris, what were you thinking? You actually called my company, didn't you? What did you say to them? Do you even realize what kind of chaos you've caused? I just got told by management that they're sending someone else to handle the Monday meeting. They told me to return home immediately. That was supposed to be my negotiation, my opportunity to prove myself. This deal was critical for my promotion. How could you mess things up for me like this? How could you? You acted recklessly without even bothering to talk to me first, and now everything is ruined. Do you have any idea how unfair and hurtful this is?
Oh, really? Is that what you think? Well, then let's hear your excuses this time. I'm curious to see how you'll try to spin this mess you've made.
Wait, what's this? What are you even talking about?
It's a screenshot of a message you sent 2 weeks ago, the day you left for your business trip. You must have realized your mistake and tried to delete it right away, but I'd already seen it by then. You didn't think to check whether I'd read it, did you?
No, this can't be happening. How is that even still there?
You do know that smartphones have a screenshot feature, don't you? Or did you somehow miss that little detail?
This is too much. You've gone too far, Chris. I mean it.
Too far? Are you seriously accusing me of going too far? Because if we're talking about crossing lines, I think you've already set a new record. Let's not forget, this isn't the first time. First it was Sam, and now what do we have? Sammy? How creative. I guess keeping the names close together makes it easier to avoid mix-ups, huh?
Stop it! I already told you it's not an affair. There is nothing inappropriate going on between us.
Oh, really? So I suppose you're going to tell me this is all just one big coincidence. Let me ask you something. Did you know that one of my friend's dads works at your company?
What? What does that have to do with anything? This is completely irrelevant right now.
Oh, I think it's very relevant. It just so happens that this friend's dad has access to some interesting internal information.
Why are you even bringing this up? This has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
You're a supervisor in the sales department, aren't you?
Yes, but what does that...
And isn't there someone higher up in your department named Cameron?
Why are you suddenly mentioning Cameron?
Oh, no reason. Just that Cameron, being the department head, has access to all kinds of information about employee schedules. You know, things like business trips and leave requests.
Chris, what are you trying to say?
I'm saying it's fascinating how, on both your recent trips, 2 junior employees from your department conveniently took leave at the exact same time. 2 weeks ago, it was someone named Samuel. And this time, it's another employee named Sam. Pretty convenient, wouldn't you say?
Wait, how do you even know about this? That's confidential company information.
Oh, it's simple. Since I'm your husband, they thought it was only fair to share this information with me. You know, as part of an open and honest partnership.
That's ridiculous. You can't just invade my privacy like this.
Oh, and speaking of transparency, I've already submitted the screenshots of your messages to Cameron.
What? No, you didn't. You can't do that, sharing private messages like that. What is wrong with you?
Given the circumstances, I think it's entirely justified.
Chris, listen to me. This isn't what you think it is. I'm not having an affair, and I've done nothing wrong. The timing of those junior employees' leave requests was just a coincidence, I swear.
Oh, a coincidence! So you're telling me that 2 fresh out of college employees, barely in their 20s, just happened to take leave at the exact same time as your business trips? And they just happen to share the same nicknames you've been using in your messages? Sure, Angela, that sounds perfectly believable.
Chris, I'm telling you the truth. There is nothing going on.
And you expect me to believe that? Angela, you're almost 30 years old. You're married. These are kids barely starting their careers, and you're using them for what exactly? Are you seriously trying to justify this?
I already said it's not what you think. They both knew what they were getting into. Everything was consensual.
Oh, so now we're playing the consent card. Great, that clears everything up.
What I'm saying is the age difference isn't even that big of a deal. It's not like I'm twice their age or something.
Wow, thanks for admitting it. I've got that saved now, by the way.
No, wait, that's not what I meant.
Too late. I've already taken another screenshot. So let me get this straight. Consensual relationships with 2 junior employees, all while you're married to me. That makes 3 people you're juggling. Did I miss anything?
Chris, please let me explain.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
It's not what you think. This wasn't about cheating. It's just building rapport with my team, strengthening workplace relationships.
Oh, that's rich. I'm sure your company's compliance office would love to hear about your creative approach to team building. Maybe I'll include that in my next email to Cameron.
No, wait, you've got it all wrong.
Oh, do I? Then please enlighten me. How exactly am I wrong?
I don't know how to explain it, but you've misunderstood.
Angela, let me give you some advice. Stop talking. You're just digging yourself deeper.
Chris, please.
Oh, and by the way, your little team-building partners have already confessed everything.
What?
Yeah, both of them. Apparently, they were under the impression that you were serious about them. But once they found out you were seeing both of them at the same time, they came clean.
No way. That can't be true.
Oh, it's true. They told me everything. And honestly, I think you're the one who should be reflecting on how disgusting this is. You're married, Angela, and these are your subordinates. Kids barely out of college, still figuring out how to navigate the corporate world. And you took advantage of them. And let's not forget, you used company business trips to turn your affairs into romantic getaways.
Chris, it's not like that, I swear.
Save it. I've already made my decision. I'm filing for divorce. I've already contacted a lawyer.
No, please don't do this. I'll end things with them. I'll never see them again. Just please don't leave me.
It's too late, Angela. I'm done. I'll be packing my things and leaving the house tonight.
Chris, please, you're the only one I love.
Shut up. I've had enough. Do you have any idea how long I waited for you to come clean? 2 weeks, Angela. 2 weeks since that first accidental message. I gave you every opportunity to tell me the truth.
I don't know how to...
And instead of being honest, you just kept lying. You just kept making excuses, and then on top of all that, you had the audacity to bring someone else into the picture. How could I ever trust you again?
Chris, I'm begging you, just give me one more chance.
You've already used up every chance I gave you. I'm done. And don't think this stops with me leaving. I've already reported everything to HR. Oh, and Cameron's been copied in on every single detail. I'm sure they'll handle the rest. As for you, Angela, don't contact me again.
Chris.
Goodbye. It appears that Angela returned to the company that very same day. From what I gathered during her business trip, it seems she had done everything by the book when it came to her work. This ultimately helped prove her professionalism and allowed her to keep her job, even though she had made a number of mistakes prior to this. However, while her job wasn't completely lost, the consequences were not light either. Angela was demoted, and her new role was in a department where she'd no longer be dealing with high-stakes work, but instead would focus more on internal office tasks. The change was significant, and it marked a clear shift in her responsibilities. While she had managed to avoid being completely let go, she had definitely been punished for her actions. The truth is, this demotion came after a series of missteps on her part, and despite her attempts to salvage her reputation, she was now in a much less viable position within the company. It seemed like her work had been sufficient during the trip, but it wasn't enough to save her from the fallout of her previous behavior. It wasn't exactly an ideal situation for her, but at least she wasn't completely cut off from her career. Meanwhile, the new recruits who had joined the company alongside Angela couldn't handle the intense pressure that came with the environment. They weren't able to cope with the high expectations and the watchful eyes of their colleagues. For some reason, they found it increasingly difficult to survive under the scrutiny, and in the end, they chose to resign voluntarily. From what I gathered, they just couldn't endure the psychological and emotional toll that came with their roles. Their decision to leave wasn't necessarily a surprise, but it was an indication of just how overwhelming the corporate world could be for those who weren't fully prepared for it. As for me, I was able to get the alimony I had requested from Angela and the others. The amount wasn't particularly high, considering that our marriage had been so short-lived, but it was enough to cover the costs and provide some sense of closure. I had never expected a large sum, and honestly, I wasn't even concerned about the amount. What mattered most to me was that the matter was settled and that I could move on with my life. It wasn't about the money, but about ensuring that the past was behind me. However, things took an unexpected turn. Despite the alimony payment, it seemed Angela wasn't satisfied with simply moving forward and leaving things in the past. Instead, for reasons I still don't understand, Angela made another questionable decision. Not long after our divorce, and after paying me the alimony, she became involved with a new employee who had been hired through mid-career recruitment. The new recruit was a married man with children, and for some strange reason, Angela decided to get involved with him. This situation was much more serious and had far more lasting consequences than anything that had happened between us. It seemed that Angela had somehow convinced herself that she could get away with it, or perhaps she simply didn't care about the repercussions of her actions. Either way, she was once again faced with the consequences of her poor choices. But this time it was much more costly. The new employee's wife soon found out what had happened and, understandably, demanded a significant sum of money in alimony. The amount was far higher than what Angela had paid me. In fact, the amount was so much larger that it made the debt I had incurred during our marriage seem trivial by comparison. The wife of the new employee, who had been betrayed by Angela's actions, demanded a substantial financial settlement. The amount was so enormous that it placed Angela in a situation where she could no longer manage the burden. Her financial situation became untenable, and the stress from the situation caused her to fall into even more serious debt. She had gone from one mistake to the next, and now she found herself trapped in a financial hole that seemed impossible to escape from. Angela's mounting debt became so unmanageable that she was forced to leave the company altogether. It was clear that she could no longer function in the corporate world, given the weight of her financial troubles and the reputation damage that came with her personal choices. She resigned from the company, marking the end of her professional career there. It wasn't a proud moment for her, and there was no redemption this time. Angela had made her bed, and now she had to lie in it. But that wasn't the end of the story. With no job and no prospects, Angela turned to an entirely different industry. Desperate and seemingly out of options, she transitioned into the nightlife business. She chose to leave behind the corporate world and try her hand in bars, clubs, and other nighttime ventures. It was a drastic change from her previous career, and it was hard to say if it was a decision born of necessity or simply the result of poor judgment. The nightlife industry, while lucrative in certain respects, is also known for its high risks and moral compromises. Angela's choice to dive into that world seemed like an escape, but it was a risky one. She went from a corporate office to the shadowy corners of bars and clubs, where the opportunities were there, but so were the dangers. It wasn't a stable or honorable career path. But for someone who had no other options left, it might have been the only one she felt she could pursue. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
What kind of lunch boxes are you planning to make for the weekend's field day? I'm curious because I know it's an important event and you always make such great lunches. Oh, hey, Jenna. Well, the field day lunchbox, I haven't fully decided on the menu yet, actually. I'm still in the process of thinking it through. This year is extra special because it's Angelica's first field day since she entered elementary school. Both sides of the grandparents will be coming, so I want to make sure I prepare something that feels right for the occasion. So I'm trying to come up with a meal that's both delicious and a little more festive than usual. It's been a bit of a challenge trying to come up with ideas, but I'm sure I'll figure it out soon. Oh, wow, that sounds exciting. The first field day. Oh, I can totally see why you'd want to make something extra special. You said both sets of grandparents are coming too? That's a lot of people to consider, huh? So what do you think you'll include? I mean, you said it would be something decent, but I'm dying to know more. What kind of things are you planning? Yeah, it's a lot to do, but I'm really looking forward to it. As for the menu, I'm thinking I'll include some things that I know everyone will enjoy. For sure, I'm planning on fried chicken. It's a lunchbox classic in my family, right? I think it's always a safe bet, and it's something both kids and adults like. Then I'm thinking about including egg sandwiches, simple but tasty. Oh, and some apple slices. I want to make sure I have some fruits in there to balance out the savory items. Those things are pretty much confirmed at this point, but I'm still figuring out the other details. I'll probably add some veggies too, like little cherry tomatoes, maybe some broccoli. I want to have a good mix of flavors, and I think that'll make a lunchbox look even more appealing. Oh, that sounds so good! I love that you're including some veggies too. You know, it's so important to have a balance. But hey, wait, you mentioned fried chicken and sandwiches? Oh, that sounds amazing, but I was actually hoping you'd include sausages too. You know, the kind of sausages that are perfect for lunchboxes. I think they're such a great addition, don't you? Oh yeah, I completely agree. It's actually a great idea, and I think I'll definitely add them in. I'm glad you suggested it. I hadn't thought of it yet, but now that you mention it, it would make the lunchbox even better. Definitely adding sausages. Yes, I'm so happy that you're going to include sausages. I can already imagine how good that's going to look. But, speaking of the fried chicken, I have to let you know my kid doesn't really handle oil or flour well. You know how some kids have issues with greasy food? My kid's one of those. It's not a huge problem, but I figured I should let you know so you can plan accordingly. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I'll definitely keep that in mind, though. Since my kid likes other things like salmon and tuna, you could probably replace the fried chicken with more of those. You could make those options a little bigger. How does that sound? Wait, hold on a second. I never promised to make the lunchboxes for you. I only shared my menu because you asked. You're the one who asked about it, so I was just telling you what I was thinking. I wasn't agreeing to make a lunchbox for everyone, especially since I've got my own family to take care of. What? But you've been going on and on about what you're making. After hearing all of that, I thought for sure you'd be making the lunchboxes for us too. I mean, you were practically bragging about it. I just assumed you were offering to help. Isn't that what neighbors do? Help each other out? Bragging? I was just sharing my ideas. I never said I'd make the lunchboxes for anyone else. You can't just assume that I'm going to do everything for you just because I mentioned what I'm making for my family. This is my responsibility, and I'm doing it for my own family. Oh, come on. You know how tough it is to make lunchboxes, especially for a whole family. It's a huge job. You said yourself that you were going to make something decent, so why not help us out too? It's not like I'm asking for a whole new meal from scratch, just a little help. Look, I get it. It's hard. But I work just as much as you do. I work 4 days a week, and I'm working the day before the field day too. So I'm not in a position to just whip up a bunch of extra lunchboxes for everyone. But honestly, I think Liz would appreciate having a lunchbox that you made, don't you? I'm sure she'd love that more than anything. That's not the point. I'm just asking you to help out, and it's not fair to leave me to do everything on my own. It's just one more thing added to the pile of stress. I understand, but I can't make any promises. I'm preparing my own family's meal, and I think that should be enough. You'll figure it out, just like everyone else does. Well, you're really not helping. If you're not going to make it for us, then I guess I'll just have to figure it out on my own. Yes, you will. Good luck with that. Also, I'm blocking you until the day of the event then. What? Wait a minute, seriously? Diana! I'm telling you, no matter what you say, I won't make it. Jenna, this is so unfair. You promised you would make lunch for us too. Why didn't you make it? Because of you, we ended up with the convenience store lunch. When I got home, my mother-in-law and husband yelled at me so much. The whole situation was a disaster. I never promised that. I clearly said no. You did promise. No, I didn't. You blocked me without asking and forced the conversation to end, didn't you? Don't you feel bad for Liz? I thought you were at least a decent person, but now I see it's just all talk. You didn't even consider how I felt. You just went ahead and did whatever you wanted, didn't you? Aren't you just trying to get your way by using your child as a shield? You're trying to guilt-trip me into doing what you want by playing the mother card. As a mother, don't you think that's a bit much? Is that really how you want to raise Liz, by manipulating people to do what you want? Shut up! By the way, Diana, didn't you try to take credit for the lunch I made? Don't even pretend you didn't. What? What are you talking about? I heard from a mom who used to be at the same kindergarten as Liz that you did the same thing at the kindergarten sports day. Don't try to act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Huh? What does that have to do with anything? Apparently, it was a success back then, but the families who were affected had to put the lunch in a big container and then serve it into smaller plates to eat. They were trying to share the lunch, but you took that big container, loudly proclaimed, "I made lunch for someone's family," and showed off to everyone. You acted like you were the one hosting the meal, eating it without any hesitation. You didn't even leave any for anyone else. How is that acceptable? Huh? No, that's not true. You've got it all wrong. But this time, contrary to what you expected, I prepared individual lunch boxes for everyone, and they were separated from the start. I even gave them out to everyone before lunchtime. There was no opportunity for anyone to take the lunch from someone else. And naturally, there was only lunch for my family. Thanks to that, your lunch-stealing tactic didn't work this time. What? For a field day lunch, you're supposed to have a big container of lunch boxes, right? To divide it up into individual portions from the start is just crazy. Who even thinks of doing that? You have completely lost it. My husband's family always did it like that, so I just followed their way. It's not a big deal. That's called being a slave to your mother-in-law. It's foolish to just obey her even though she's your enemy. Why would you let someone control you like that? Don't you have a mind of your own? My mother-in-law also had her lunch stolen during her child's kindergarten field day, and the next year she almost had it happen again. So after thinking it through, she came up with a way to protect herself, and I just copied that method. It wasn't my idea, but it was the right choice. Huh? What are you talking about? Hearing all this, don't you remember anything? Does any of this sound familiar? What are you talking about? What does my mother-in-law have to do with anything? My mother-in-law said that she remembered your face when she saw you at the field day. She recalled the incident where the lunch was stolen, and apparently it was all your fault. She said you're just like your mother. Is that really so surprising? What? How could you possibly know that? Apparently you look just like your mom when she was younger, not just in appearance, but even the way you speak. Your mannerisms, everything about you, it's all the same. Isn't that a pretty harsh judgment based on just that? You can't judge someone just by their looks or the way they talk. Maybe it's just someone who happens to look like her, right? Then, do you remember a boy named Sam? Huh? Who? If your mother-in-law was a target for lunch stealing, then her child must be my husband, Sam. How do you not see that? Wait, what are you saying? My husband still clearly remembers what happened. He was really looking forward to eating the sausages, but ended up having them all taken by you. When he cried and asked for them back, you just laughed and ate them all. Doesn't that make you feel even a little bit guilty? That little brat was your husband? Seriously? Are you really saying this to me? My husband was horrified by how bold you and your mother were. He felt a chill even as a child. He's never forgotten that moment, and neither is my mother-in-law. And you're telling me this is the first you've heard of it? This is so old. Why are you bringing this up now? That was years ago. The people who were affected usually remember it very well. You don't just get to brush it off like it never happened. By the way, don't you feel embarrassed about your mother and daughter both making these lunch-stealing claims for generations? Don't you feel even a little ashamed of it? What? I don't care about my mom's story. This is about you not making lunch, and now look what happened. You've ruined everything. I was known as Diana, who loves to cook, until now, and now it's all destroyed. You've made a fool of me in front of everyone. Well, it seems like all the other moms already knew about it. What do you mean by that? They knew about what happened with your mom, and they also knew about what you did at the kindergarten field day. How could you not have known this? What? So even if you had stolen my lunch this time and claimed it as your own, it wouldn't have impressed anyone. The other moms would have already figured it out, so your "I'm a capable mom" act wouldn't have worked. They would have seen right through it. Wait, no! Actually, the rumors would have gotten worse, and in the end, it would have been better for you to learn this lesson, even if it was a bit painful. At least now, you have no choice but to face the truth. You're lying, right? This can't be true. Well, now that your kid's in elementary school, it's time to face the reality. Don't think you can keep pulling these stunts forever. No way, this can't be true. Ugh, I've had enough of you. I'm blocking you now. I don't want anything to do with you anymore. Wait, are you seriously blocking me? This is how you solve everything? What happened to all that talk about fairness and honesty? I can't believe you're doing this. Jenna? Jenna! Diana was what you might call a terrible cook wife. She was fully aware of her cooking skills, or rather, her lack of them. In fact, she tried to hide it as much as possible, particularly from her husband. Diana did not want to disappoint him, and certainly she didn't want to reveal the extent of her culinary shortcomings. So she devised a clever but dishonest solution. She would buy pre-made side dishes from stores, carefully arrange them on the dinner table, and present them as though she had cooked them herself. It was her little secret, one that she believed would keep her marriage intact and prevent her husband from knowing the truth. To the outside world, everything appeared normal. The couple had been married for 7 years, and for most of that time, her husband, who was none the wiser, believed that his wife was an ordinary homemaker. She would prepare meals for him, and he would sit down and eat them, never suspecting that they weren't the product of her own efforts. The facade worked well for a time, and Diana felt that she had found the perfect solution to her cooking dilemma. Yet, despite her best efforts, the truth eventually came to light. It was not her husband who discovered her secret at first, rather, it was Diana herself who, in a moment of reflection, realized that she had been living a lie. After all, 7 years is a long time, and no matter how carefully one tries to hide something, eventually the truth has a way of surfacing. Her husband, who had never suspected anything, was the first to notice something was amiss. He began reflecting on the years that they had spent together, thinking back to various instances when the meals Diana served seemed perhaps a little too perfect, or too identical to store-bought dishes. The thought had crossed his mind occasionally, but he had never taken it seriously enough to confront her about it. Eventually, however, the truth became undeniable. Diana's husband, through his own observations and reflections, realized that his wife had been passing off pre-made meals as her own creations all these years. It was a shock to him, as he had never suspected Diana of hiding something like this. It wasn't that he disliked store-bought food, rather it was the deception that had bothered him. It was a betrayal, albeit a small one in the grand scheme of things, but it was enough to cause him to feel disappointed and hurt. At first, Diana tried to brush it off. She told her husband that it had been just a small mistake, or perhaps a moment of weakness. She assured him that it wasn't a big deal and that it wasn't something to dwell on. She even promised that things would change and they could work together to improve their cooking skills. In an attempt to restore harmony and fix the situation, Diana suggested that they both learn how to cook together. This seemed like a reasonable solution at the time. Her husband, wanting to save their relationship and move past the issue, agreed to the idea. They could take cooking classes, watch tutorials online, or experiment in the kitchen together. It would be an opportunity for them to bond and strengthen their relationship, and perhaps, over time, her husband's hurt feelings would subside. For a while, it seemed like the plan was working. Diana and her husband began cooking together, and it was clear that they both had a lot to learn. It wasn't always easy, and there were definitely some awkward moments in the kitchen as they fumbled their way through recipes. But Diana felt a sense of relief that at least her husband wasn't harboring any ill feelings towards her anymore. They were in this together, learning and growing as a couple. However, it wasn't long before Diana fell back into her old habits. Cooking together had not provided the long-term solution she had hoped for. The stress of managing the household, the pressure of cooking every day, and her own reluctance to embrace the kitchen led her to make the decision that would eventually unravel everything she had worked so hard to hide. A month later, Diana was caught once again. This time, she had gone even further than simply buying store-bought side dishes. Diana had managed to steal her younger sister-in-law's cooking and claimed it as her own. She presented a meal that was clearly not of her own making, passing it off as her own creation once more. Her husband was understandably upset. Not only had she lied again, but she had taken it to an entirely new level. The fact that she had stolen her sister-in-law's cooking was seen as a betrayal within the family, especially since it had gone beyond the boundaries of just her marriage. It was an act of dishonesty that involved more than just her relationship with her husband. It affected the entire family dynamic. This incident was the final straw for Diana's husband. He had tried to give her the benefit of the doubt, but now it seemed clear that her actions were deliberate and calculated. The betrayal had escalated from a simple lie to something far more damaging. Her husband felt deeply hurt and disappointed, and he struggled to understand why Diana had chosen to continue with the deception despite everything they had been through. As the situation unraveled, the discussion quickly turned to accusations. The family began to gossip about Diana's behavior, and some members even referred to her actions as a form of bullying toward her younger sister-in-law. Diana's behavior toward her sister-in-law, who had been innocent in all of this, was seen as an attempt to belittle her or steal the spotlight, especially in the context of family gatherings where everyone was expected to contribute in some way. It wasn't long before Diana's husband made the difficult decision to divorce her. The trust that had been broken could not be repaired, and the emotional toll of the lies and deceit was too much for him to bear. The marriage had been built on a foundation of dishonesty, and that foundation had crumbled under the weight of repeated betrayals. After the divorce, Diana's husband moved on with his life, and Diana was left to face the consequences of her actions. She realized too late that the secrets she had kept and the lies she had told had cost her more than just her marriage. Her relationships with her family were strained, and her reputation was tarnished. Liz emerged as the true beneficiary of the situation. She moved in with her father's family and began living a life that was free from the tension and lies that had plagued Diana's marriage. Liz was able to focus on her own well-being, and more importantly, she was surrounded by the love and support of her husband's family. Growing up in a home where she was cared for and nourished by her grandmother's homemade meals, Liz thrived. The warmth and comfort of her new life contrasted sharply with the coldness that she had to endure with her mother, Diana. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
I've just finished work.
Chuck, good job today. You're having dinner at home, right?
Yeah, I wasn't invited out for drinks today, so I'll head straight home.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, there's something I need you to do for me.
What's up?
Have you ever talked to my boss's kids? They go to the same kindergarten as Bri.
Yeah. Bree's in a different class, so I haven't really talked to the moms. But I know that the section chief's younger son is in the tulip class, and the assistant manager's daughter is in the dandelion class, right?
That's right. So, you know how there's going to be a school play at the kindergarten, right?
Yeah, I know about that.
Well, I've already agreed to have you make the costumes for their kids who are in the play.
Huh?
The section chief's son is playing the role of Lincoln, and the assistant manager's daughter is playing a general. Both are major roles, so apparently the costumes are quite complicated and require a lot of work.
Hold on a second.
Huh?
Bree might not be the lead, but she's playing a soldier of the South, and I'm already working on her costume. Adding 2 more costumes for the lead roles? There's clearly not enough time. It's just impossible, no matter how you look at it.
No, that's not true. You went to a sewing school, didn't ya? Stop acting like you're hesitating. Making costumes for a kindergarten play should be a piece of cake for ya.
I'm telling you, it's not going to be a piece of cake. That's why I'm saying it's impossible. And what's with deciding this without even consulting me? I'm running a sewing business here, you know. Technically, I should be charging for this service.
Come on, don't be like that. The payment is a priceless increase in my reputation from my boss.
What?
If we get this right, there's no doubt that my stock will rise. As a professional in sewing, I'm counting on you to do this right without cutting any corners.
No way.
Huh?
Why should I have to do this? Usually it's the parents who make the costumes for their own kids. Unless there's some special reason, I wouldn't take on this kind of task.
What are you talking about? You made the costumes for Sammy at your sister's place, didn't you, a couple of years ago?
That's exactly the special reason I'm talking about. It was when my sister broke her arm and my brother-in-law was on a long overseas business trip. That's why I had no choice but to take it on.
So this time it's pretty much the same, right? Apparently the section chief's wife and the assistant manager's wife aren't very good at sewing. And recently they've been saying things like, "This is so difficult, what should I do?"
And?
Huh?
I'm pretty sure that for costumes that are difficult to make, it was fine to just modify ready-made clothes. And the kindergarten didn't require everything to be handmade.
No, the reality is they're stuck and don't know what to do. That basically means they can't sew, right? In that case, it's just like when my sister couldn't make the costumes because of her broken arm.
What are you even saying? That's totally different. My sister isn't good at sewing, but she managed to do some on her own, even with a broken arm. But the wives of your bosses aren't in some situation where they can't even start making the costumes, right?
Exactly, the fact that they can't sew is the situation I'm talking about.
Are you even listening to me? Did you seriously decide to just dump this on me without even asking? Just because I'm your wife and we're both moms at the same kindergarten, it's honestly not okay for you to just throw this at someone you've never even talked to before.
Hey, what's with that attitude? The person in question is the wife of my boss. That's disrespectful. Think about your position before you say anything.
I'm just sharing my thoughts from a mother's perspective.
I have a position at the company too. Once I take something on, it's only right to see it through to the end as a matter of integrity.
Then why don't you just do it yourself?
What?
You're the one who agreed to this, not me.
In that case, I won't be coming home tonight.
Huh?
I'm not coming home until you reflect on what you've done and say, "I was wrong." I'd be happy to make the costumes. You'll have to kneel down and apologize.
Oh, really? Then I don't have to prepare dinner for you tonight.
What?
I'm busy right now taking care of Bree until she falls asleep, so you can just take care of your own dinner tonight.
Honestly, I'll give you some time to cool off and think about what you've done.
I can't believe this. I work hard every day, and now I'm being asked to take on someone else's responsibilities because of some random request that wasn't even discussed with me? I am tired, Chuck. I just want to rest and not have to deal with something so ridiculous. And on top of that, you're telling me it's for your reputation at work? I didn't sign up for this. This isn't part of the deal. Chuck, you always think everything can be solved by just doing it, but I am not just some puppet who can be controlled. I have my own work, my own time, and my own responsibilities. I'm not here to play the role of your personal costume maker. You don't even seem to understand how hard it is to juggle everything and still do something for someone else without a second thought. You're asking me to take on more without even asking if I'm okay with it. It's exhausting just thinking about it.
Hey, have you had enough time to reflect on your actions yet?
What are you talking about?
I figured Bri must have gone to bed by now, so I thought you would have had time to sit down and really think about what's been going on. After all, you had some time while things were quiet, right?
If this is about the costumes, I've already made it clear. I'm not making them.
You're still going on about that?
Well, yes, because it's already been decided. I am not going to make them.
Decided?
Yes. And after everything that happened, I went ahead and consulted with the kindergarten teachers. They took care of informing your superiors about the change.
Wait, what?
I spoke with the wives of your superiors, and after discussing things with them, we decided that it's better if I don't take on making the costumes.
What is this? Why are you making decisions on your own without even discussing it with me?
Before you go blaming me, I think you should have actually listened to what your superiors had to say before making up your mind about everything.
Huh?
It turns out the wives of your superiors weren't saying it was too hard to do. When they mentioned how challenging it was, they were actually saying it's difficult, but it's a challenge they were willing to take on. They were just figuring out how to approach it.
What?
Apparently, while the two wives were chatting over tea, they discussed the costumes. When your boss and the other manager were talking about it on their way home, you interrupted them without realizing they had already been discussing the issue. You went on about how I'm a professional, that I went to fashion school, and how it was a good idea to just give the task to me, saying I'd handle it. Then, when they tried to correct you, you kept brushing them off, saying things like, "It's fine," and "Don't worry about it," and left quickly. Is that what happened?
Wait, what?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. You just barged in and didn't listen to their side of things. When they realized you had misunderstood the situation, they tried to explain it to you, But you just kept interrupting and reassuring them that it would be fine. You didn't even give them a chance to correct you before leaving.
Oh, really?
Yes, and here's the kicker. They actually planned to contact me themselves about it because they felt they needed to clarify things. But then the kindergarten called me because they heard I wanted to discuss it, so we got in touch.
Are you serious?
Yes, they were already planning to reach out to me. And then, since they had heard I wanted to talk to them, I ended up calling them. I had to apologize on behalf of my husband for him jumping the gun and not understanding the situation properly. I told your superiors I was sorry for the confusion.
Wait, what?
Yes, and not only did I apologize on your behalf, but they also apologized to me, saying they were sorry they couldn't stop you from rushing into things.
Wait, they apologized to you?
Yes, they did. And on top of that, they said something else. They mentioned that you have a tendency to act impulsively without listening to the people around you, and that it's becoming a problem. Apparently, you've been reprimanded for it before. They even expressed concern that your impulsive behavior could lead to you making a major mistake at work. They're genuinely worried about the impact it could have on your career.
Are you serious?
Yes, I had no idea either. I never realized that your tendency to act without thinking was causing such a big issue at work. I honestly feel bad for you, but at the same time, this needs to be addressed before it gets out of hand. You need to start paying attention to how you approach things, or it's going to continue causing problems.
I didn't mean for it to get this bad.
I know you didn't mean for things to get out of hand, but unfortunately, that's exactly why it's so problematic. When you act impulsively, it often makes the situation worse, even when that's the last thing you intend to do.
I don't think it's that bad.
But it is that bad. Look at what just happened with this whole costume debacle. You misinterpreted everything, acting on your own assumptions, and caused a big mess without taking the time to listen or consider anyone else's perspective.
Oh, I see.
And what's worse is that you wasted everyone's time, including mine. We could have avoided all of this if you had just communicated with the right people and listened to their input. But instead, you pushed ahead without thinking it through.
I didn't mean to waste anyone's time.
I know, but that's the consequence of acting on impulse. Now you've put us all in an awkward position, and we're going to have to undo the mess you've created.
So what should I do now?
Well, first things first, you need to apologize to both your boss and the other manager tomorrow. They need to hear it from you that you realize your mistake and that you understand the consequences of rushing into things like this.
And after that?
You also need to take a hard look at how you act in the future. You can't keep rushing into situations without considering what others are thinking. You've got to stop acting impulsively, or else you're going to keep sabotaging your own success.
So, I have to apologize for everything?
Yes, and don't just say a quick sorry and move on. You need to really explain to them that you understand the problem and that you're committed to doing better. If you don't show them that you've learned from this, nothing will change.
I see. I really messed up, didn't I?
Yes, you did, but that doesn't mean you can't fix it. You just need to stop acting impulsively and learn to think before you act. If you do that, you can avoid making this kind of mistake again.
Okay, I understand now. I'll make sure to apologize properly tomorrow. I don't want this to happen again.
Good. Well, I'm glad you understand. Now you really need to make sure you work on this behavior. Otherwise, it's going to keep causing issues for you and everyone else around you. The next day, my husband seemed to have been thoroughly reprimanded by his two bosses. When he returned home, he immediately dropped to his knees and apologized to me. His expression was filled with genuine remorse, and his deep brow reflected just how much he understood the gravity of the situation. It wasn't just the standard apology one might expect. There was real humility in the way he approached me. He had clearly been given quite a talking to at work. The way his bosses had reacted was serious, and I could tell he wasn't just apologizing to fulfill some obligation, but because he truly recognized the mistake he had made. When I went to pick up our children from the kindergarten later that day, I had the chance to meet with the other wives, as they were there too. After a few moments of small talk, I apologized to them for the incident that had occurred, acknowledging how uncomfortable it must have made everyone. I explained that it wasn't something I had expected to happen, and I genuinely felt sorry for the disruption it had caused. It was important to me that they knew I took full responsibility for the situation, and that I wanted to maintain a good relationship with all of them, especially since we were going to be seeing each other regularly from then on. It wasn't just about being polite, it was about ensuring that any tension or awkwardness was addressed, so everyone could move forward. The whole incident actually turned out to be a turning point for me. While the situation had started out as uncomfortable, it ended up bringing the wives closer together. It became a kind of bridge that allowed me to interact with them more, and before long, I had formed a friendship with both of them. They were both very approachable and warm-hearted women, which made the transition from awkward strangers to genuine friends much easier. There was absolutely no sense of distance between us, no feeling that I was only being included because I was the wife of their husband's subordinate. They treated me like an equal from the very start, and I greatly appreciated that. We started spending more time together, chatting about everything from family matters to personal interests. It was nice to be able to socialize with them without any underlying tension or discomfort. One of the women, the wife of the section chief, was particularly easy to talk to. It turned out that she worked in a neighboring department as a part-time employee, which was an interesting bit of information I wouldn't have known otherwise. As we talked, I realized how much we had in common. Despite the different roles we had in the workplace, it was funny because while we were discussing our husband's work and how their respective departments were structured, I began to get a clear picture of what went on at my husband's workplace. Thanks to our new friendship, I found myself learning more and more about the environment he worked in, and even the things he didn't share with me at home became clear. The more we spent time together, the more I realized how much I appreciated their honesty and openness. I wasn't expecting them to divulge confidential details or insider information, but the little glimpses into their lives and the workplace dynamics helped me understand my husband's challenges a bit more. It also made me more aware of the pressure he was under, and how some of his behaviors, while not excusable, were perhaps a result of that stress. As for the section chief's wife, she was always so positive and kind. We started to exchange advice on different matters, and she shared her experience of balancing work and family life. I was impressed by how much she managed to juggle, and it inspired me to reconsider my own approach to handling responsibilities at home and work. We would often joke about how, despite having full-time jobs, our husbands seemed to take longer to get their acts together than we did. But it was all in good fun, and it made me feel better to know that other women were going through similar experiences. Thanks to these interactions, I ended up learning quite a bit about my husband's work life. I found out about the small yet significant challenges he was facing daily, things that had been hidden from me before. Of course, I didn't directly ask for these details, but little by little the information came to me. I could see how it affected him, and it helped me understand his behavior better, especially in terms of how he reacted to stress. This new understanding also led to a deeper conversation between my husband and me. It wasn't long before we had what I'd call a couples reflection meeting, where we took time to discuss the issues that had arisen and to reflect on what we could both do better. I think my husband found it to be a useful exercise, as it gave him the chance to evaluate where he had gone wrong and to think about how he could improve. During our conversation, he admitted that he had neglected to prioritize certain things at work, which led to the tension that had spilled over into our personal lives. He was grateful for the opportunity to discuss these things openly and for me to not judge him too harshly. It was a positive step in our relationship, allowing both of us to see the other's perspective. Since then, my husband has taken steps to improve himself professionally. He's made a concerted effort to focus more on his work and has been achieving much better results. I've noticed a change in him. He seems more focused and driven, and he no longer lets minor issues distract him as easily. He has begun to take more initiative at his projects, and I can tell that his bosses have already noticed the shift in his attitude. It's not that everything is perfect now, but there's been a noticeable improvement, and I'm proud of the progress he's made. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Jacob, sorry for texting you while you're busy at work. I know your schedule's packed today and you have a lot to get done this week.
Kristen, what's going on? Is something wrong?
I just found out I need to head over to my parents' house right away. It's a bit of an emergency, I guess.
What happened? Did something happen with your mom or dad?
It's my dad. Apparently he missed a step on the stairs and fell. The neighbor called me to let me know he was taken to the hospital. It may get pretty bad, so I'm going to go see him.
Oh no, that sounds serious. Is he okay?
I'm heading out now to check on him and see how he's doing.
What about Manny? Are you taking him along with you?
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. I'll bring him with me to the hospital and then to my parents' house.
Are you sure? It sounds like a lot to handle on your own. If you need me to come and help, I can leave work early. It's not a problem.
No, don't worry about it. I know you have that business trip today. Plus, I was told that he didn't hit his head or anything, so it's not a super serious injury. The doctor's already treated him, and it seems like he's doing okay.
Well, that's a relief. Still, it must have been scary for him and for you.
Yeah, it's hard not to worry. But still, I'm a bit concerned about how bad the injury might be. But I figured I'd stop by, check on him, and bring Manny along. Seeing his grandson might help cheer him up a bit.
I think that's a great idea. If you're sure it's not too much trouble for you, it could really brighten his day.
Thanks. I might stay overnight if things seem like they'll take longer.
That's fine. Just take care of your dad and don't stress about anything else.
Thank you. I'll head out now.
Drive safe and let me know if you need anything. Kristen, how is everything over there?
I'm sorry for making you worry. My father, he sprained his ankle. It's not that serious, but it still hurts when he walks. For now, I think I'll stay here for a few more days, just to keep an eye on him.
Oh, I see. Your dad sprained his ankle, huh?
Yes, that's right. Since my mom passed away, living alone during times like this really becomes an inconvenience, doesn't it?
Well, when I rang the doorbell, Manny came running to greet me all hyped up, carrying him on his shoulders, looking all excited.
What?
With the way he was acting, you could probably come back home now, don't you think?
Jacob, what are you talking about?
No, really, that's the line I should be saying here. Apparently you and your secret man were planning to go on a trip alone together, just the two of you or something like that? And you plan to have your father watch Manny for you while you're away?
Wait, hold on. Are you really at my parents' house right now?
Well, yeah.
What about your business trip then? How could you possibly lie about something like that?
I can't believe you're the one saying that to me. By the way, the business trip is real. Things wrapped up a lot sooner than I thought. When I realized that your parents' house is just a 30-minute drive away from my work trip location, I decided to tell my boss about the situation and asked for permission to go off on my own while still being on the trip. And now here we are. By the way, where exactly are you right now?
I'm with a friend.
A friend?
It's Anna, my old friend from back home. You met her at the wedding and you exchanged greetings with her, right?
Oh, that person, right. So why did you make up such a complicated story?
Well, actually, I came on a trip with Anna. When you're busy on your business trip, it's been hard for me to admit that I'm just here having fun.
Using your father's injury as an excuse like that just makes me even more worried, though.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
So who are you really with, then?
Huh? I'm telling you, it's Anna.
Really? You... If you're going to lie, can you at least be a little more careful with the names you use?
But it's true. I know I lied about going on a trip, and that was wrong, but this part is the truth.
Anna isn't with you, though.
How can you say that with such confidence?
Because I know for sure that's why.
Huh? What do you mean by that? What is this?
It's a photo that Anna sent me as proof. This man, he's Anna's husband, Kevin, right? And this is the waiting room at the station where you two were planning to go on your affair trip, isn't it?
Wait, hold on a second. How is it that you're even in contact with Anna?
Well, remember the home number you gave me before? I called that one.
But wait, you're supposed to be on a business trip.
I wasn't gonna leave the house empty, so before I left, I stopped by and set up call forwarding from the home phone to my cell phone.
Wait, hold on. You can really do that?
Well, I did it, so it must be possible, right? And since Anna knew that you and your man were off on an affair trip, she probably figured I'd be the one answering the phone when she called. So she let me know everything that's been going on.
No way. Anna wouldn't do something like that.
Well, when I asked, I found out Anna had actually come back to her parents' place. It's just 5 minutes from your parents' house, so she came over, and I heard everything from her.
No, that can't be true.
And by the way, I already changed the locks at our place, so you won't be able to get inside anymore.
Huh? You changed the locks while you were on a business trip? That means your whole business trip story must have been a lie, right?
Did you forget who the landlord is?
Wait. Oh.
Yeah, that's right. It's my grandfather. When I explained the situation to him over the phone, he was kind enough to change the locks for me, using his authority as the landlord.
No way. So where am I supposed to go now?
Your dad needs to hurry up and come back here and apologize to me and Manny.
Huh?
Well, even if he apologizes, the divorce is already a done deal.
Divorce?
Why are you so surprised now? You should have seen this coming the moment you decided to cheat. When an affair is discovered, this is what happens. Your spouse finds out and they confront you about it. And of course, it doesn't stop there. You'll be hit with alimony payments, and if you have kids, there's child support as well. As I mentioned, divorce is almost inevitable at this point.
No, divorce? I didn't think this would happen.
And if the person you cheated with is married, then their spouse can also file for alimony.
No, Anna is so kind. She would never do something like that. She's been my best friend for so long. I won't let you scare me with your threats.
Well, I spoke with a lawyer and they're preparing to take action.
What? Let me talk to Anna for a second. It looks like she's blocking my calls.
The lawyer will reach out to you soon.
I know divorce alimony can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Do you think I have that kind of money? Can't you just understand how much pressure this is? Let me talk to Anna right now. Kristen, it's Anna. Anna, this is horrible. Aren't we friends anymore? Once you slept with Kevin, you stopped being my friend. I didn't want to talk to you again, but seeing that you're seriously misunderstanding things, I figured I should correct that at least. Why are you betraying me? Do you even realize what you're saying right now? You're having an affair with my husband. You've betrayed me first, not the other way around. But we've been such close friends, practically like sisters since we were kids. How could you do this to me? So, does that mean you think it's okay to steal my husband from me? Is that what you think? I thought you would understand. I thought you would forgive me. I was hoping you'd see that it's true love and you'd be okay with it. You must be living in some fantasy world. Even friends have boundaries, and you've crossed them without a second thought. This is not something I'll just let slide. How could you do this to me? What kind of person are you to take my husband from me like this? What about you, though? Taking pictures of Kevin and following him around? Does that make you feel better about what you've done? Aren't you ashamed of yourself stalking my husband like this? What's wrong with gathering evidence when I know my husband is having an affair? Do you think I'm supposed to just sit here and let you get away with it? You're right. I don't want to be with Kevin anymore, but I need proof before I make any decisions. The fact that you're accusing me of stalking just proves how little you care about what's really happening. You need to open your eyes, Kristen. Maybe it's because you're so bitter and unattractive that Kevin's lost interest in you. He's just not into you anymore, and that's why he's turned to me. How could you say something so cruel? I'm not charming, but I'm not going to apologize for it. What about you? You're the one who betrayed your marriage first, and now you're trying to make yourself the victim in all this? Do you even realize how selfish you sound? But if you were so interested in someone else, you should have divorced first, don't you think? If you were truly serious about being with Kevin, you should have cleaned up your own mess before you started with him. I would have been hurt, yes, but at least I would have understood. But no, you and Kevin didn't bother to end things properly because you started your affair and now you're being blamed for it. You can't just skip over the responsibility that comes with that. It's just a matter of order, that's all. Just like when someone ends up pregnant before marriage, it's just one of those things that happens sometimes, like getting married too soon. So why does it matter? No, it's not the same. Being pregnant out of wedlock is controversial, sure, but at least those people are taking responsibility. An affair, on the other hand, is illegal. It's a violation of trust and it's morally wrong. That's what you're doing. Illegal? Are you serious? Yes, I'm serious. Affairs are against the law. There are consequences. You should look it up yourself. You're just making this up. It's not made up. You can check on your smartphone. There are tons of resources about legal consequences of affairs. You'll see that it's not just a moral issue, it's a legal one. No, that's not true. Kevin and I are in love. This is real love, and it's not an affair. How could you say something like that? If you really believe that, why didn't you just divorce Jacob first? Why didn't you handle things properly before you started an affair with Kevin? If you cared about him the way you say you do, you would have respected his relationship with me and dealt with your marriage first. We couldn't wait. We just couldn't wait any longer for our hearts to align. It wasn't something we could control. Our hearts were just in sync and everything else didn't matter. So you're telling me that you couldn't use your brain and waited until everything was settled first? You let your instincts take over and acted without thinking? That's not love. That's selfishness. You didn't care about anyone but yourselves. That's so mean. I'm not trying to be cruel, but I'm just telling you the truth. You chose your instincts over your responsibilities, and that's what you did. You and Kevin need to face the consequences of your actions. You can't just blame everyone else when you've crossed so many lines. But you, Kristen, you still can't seem to admit what you've done is wrong. You're in complete denial about the damage you've caused. No matter how much you try to justify it, this affair was wrong. No, it's not. This isn't an affair. We're in love, and you need to understand that. Well, let me explain it to you in terms you can understand. When you're married and you're involved with someone else, that is what's called adultery. It's a violation of the vows you took. Now, Jacob and we both have the right to ask for alimony from you and Kevin. That's the legal process. Wait, no, that's not fair. You can't just do that to us. Yes, I can, because this is the consequence of what you've done. You don't get to break the rules and then cry when there are consequences. You have to take responsibility for your actions, Kristen. So, are you done now? I think this pointless argument has gone on long enough. You're not going to change my mind, and I don't think I can change yours. Anna!
Kristen, it's Jacob now. Can you hear me out for a minute?
What is it?
Anna's right. Everything she's said, it's exactly what I've been trying to tell you. She's said everything I wanted to say, and I'm glad she did. It's a shame that you still don't understand.
Jacob, I thought you would understand me. You've always been there for me. Why can't you see things from my perspective?
No, I don't understand, and I'm not going to. It's a mystery how someone who's involved in an affair can act so clueless. Do you even realize the mess you've created?
Jacob!
Look, I don't think someone like you who's completely lost touch with reality should be raising Manny. I'm taking Manny, and I'm gonna raise him properly.
Wait, what? You can't take him away from me.
We'll settle this through the lawyers. You need to face the consequences now, Kristen.
Wait, no! You can't just do this to me. Please don't take him.
Before long, both Anna and I got divorced. Kristen, despite her numerous objections and resistance, eventually had no choice but to agree to the divorce. Her father, my father-in-law, had become extremely angry, and with a forceful punch, he made Kristen cry and reluctantly agree to the separation. It was a moment that was both heartbreaking and overwhelming, as Kristen was left no room to negotiate or refuse anymore. The emotional weight of it all seemed to hit her in that instant, and her defiance crumbled under the pressure of her father's wrath. As for the custody of our son, after much discussion and persuasion from my father-in-law, the decision was made and I was granted full custody. It was a decision that, in the end, seemed right for both the child and me. My father-in-law, who had a certain influence over Kristen due to their past history, had made sure to sway the decision in my favor, despite Kristen's emotional protests. I did not feel victorious in that moment, but rather relieved, as I knew that Manny would be in a safer, more stable environment. Kristen's chaotic lifestyle was not conducive to raising a child, and that fact was something I could not ignore. However, the aftermath of this divorce was not an easy one for Kristen. After the separation, she and her affair partner found themselves in an increasingly dire financial situation. The alimony and child support payments, which amounted to more than $100,000 combined, caused their household to plunge into financial turmoil. Kristen, who had already been living on the edge with her reckless behavior, was now forced to face the consequences of her actions. The financial burden of these payments drained her resources and added a layer of stress that only compounded the emotional turmoil she had been dealing with since the divorce. Incredibly, the relationship between Kristen and her affair partner did not last long after the financial pressures hit. I heard that just a month after they began living together, their relationship came to a sudden and abrupt end. It was clear that the weight of their shared financial difficulties was too much to bear, and their once passionate connection was obliterated by the realities of debt and personal struggles. It was a devastating collapse that reflected how fragile their bond had been from the start. The affair, which had initially seemed like an escape for Kristen, had only compounded her problems and left her with even more to confront. Meanwhile, my father-in-law, who had been deeply offended by Kristen's infidelity, made it clear that he would never forgive her for what she had done. He could not stand the idea of his daughter continuing to live in the house where so many memories of her betrayal had been made. In the wake of our divorce, my father-in-law made the decision to sell the family home and move away, cutting all ties to the past. He didn't want Kristen to have any connection to that place, and to ensure she could not find him, he did not inform her of his new address. He disappeared from her life as quietly as possible, without leaving a trace. As the weeks went by, Kristen's persistence became unbearable. She repeatedly reached out to me, begging for reconciliation, desperate to rekindle the relationship that had once been the center of her life. I could feel her desperation in every message she sent, every phone call she made. But I had made up my mind. There was no going back. The betrayal was too great, and my heart could not allow me to forgive her for the pain she had caused. To escape her relentless pleas, I made the decision to leave the city. I took Manny with me, and we relocated far away to a place where Kristen would no longer be able to contact me as easily. It was a necessary move, both for my own mental health and for the well-being of my son, who needed to be free from the tension and chaos that Kristen continued to bring into our lives. We moved to a distant location, and I started a new job there. The transition was difficult, but it provided the fresh start that I so desperately needed. Now, several years later, I live about a 20-minute drive from my father-in-law's new house. Although we no longer see each other on a daily basis, we still maintain contact. Manny, now much older, is able to visit his grandfather from time to time, and the bond between them remains strong. My father-in-law, despite all the years of tension and emotional pain, has continued to support me and Manny, and his role as grandpa is important to both of us. Even though the divorce was a painful experience, there is a sense of peace that has come from the separation. It's as if, over time, the raw emotions have slowly faded, and now we're left with only the reality of our new lives. I no longer feel the bitterness that once consumed me. Kristen's actions may have torn our family apart, but in some ways they also set us on a path to healing. Manny and I have built a life that is free from the toxicity that once defined our home. We have a routine, a stability that we never had before. Looking back on everything that happened, I can't help but feel a sense of gratitude for the lessons learned. Yes, the divorce was painful, and the emotional scars are still there, but I have gained clarity and understanding from it all. I've learned to prioritize my happiness and well-being, and above all, to protect Manny from the negativity that once clouded our lives. I know that I have the strength to move forward, and that Manny and I will continue to build a life filled with love, security, and stability. As for Kristen, I don't know what the future holds for her. I no longer have any interest in her life or her struggles. She made her choices, and now she must deal with the consequences. The pain she caused will forever be a part of her, just as it will be a part of me. But I've learned that I can't let her actions define my future or my happiness. I'm moving forward, and I'm focused on the future, on providing for Manny and creating a safe and happy life for him. That is what matters now. Despite everything, we have a future ahead of us, and I'm determined to make it as positive as possible.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.